This episode is brought to you by Bevel. Bevel is the first and only shaving system for men with coarse and curly hair. Guys like Mickey and I are always getting cuts from normal razors. Bevel is an amazing shave for people like us. Bevel is even clinically proven. After using, 4 out of 5 men reported reduced razor bumps, discoloration, and irritation. For 20% off your first box of Bevel supplies, go to getbevel.com and the offer code ICE. This also would make a great gift for the holidays. That's getbevel.com, offer code ICE. Please support them since they're supporting us.
Upon initial contact with Ice-T's music, I had envisioned him to be an ill-mannered and psychologically unstable man with an extremely uneducated and barbaric frame of mind, whose raps displayed nothing but ridiculous jargon, shocking sexual audacity, and repulsive images of the ghetto. However, after further analysis of his music, I can deduce that he is the epitome of anti-disestablishment terrorism, who embodies the entire spectrum of the urban experience and struggle. But to make things more plain and simple to the layman, I find Ice-T to be the dopest, flyest, OG pimp, hustler, gangster player, hardcore motherfucker living today. To be honest, I am totally and completely on his dick.
Welcome to the Ice-T Final Level Podcast, featuring your co-host, Mick Benzo, and your host,
Ice-T. Hey, yo, this is Ice-T and Mick Benzo, and you're listening to Final Level Podcast number 21. What's going down, Mick?
Just like Las Vegas, baby. You know you get 6, 7, 8, that's 21. You win.
That's what's
happening. The dealer. We're beating the dealer right now.
They told us we would only do 5 podcasts, and we'd be done with this. We're on 21. Somebody needs to shut the fuck up.
I'm telling you, we're beating the dealer. 21. Blackjack, baby. It's in the building. Yo, man, this is crazy.
We've had great episodes. We've come up with different ways of doing this now. We've done the all-caller episode, which has been really fun. Our last episode had the infamous, my friend, Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, man. He was on number 20.
It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Today, we have a special guest. My friend just came off, we was out together. He showed up on the Mayhem Fest tour. The lead singer of Hatebreed, the infamous and notorious Jamie Jasta is in the building. That's what's up. And now Jamie called in one time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
Because he had said he did a verse with you. He wanted to use that verse.
Yeah, we fucked around. He came over to my house before, brought a fucking studio, sat it right there on the kitchen thing, and gave me a mic and had me screaming in my living room. But I met Jamie back in the day when he was doing Headbangers Ball. How did that happen, Headbangers Ball, for you? How did they pick you out of all the headbangers?
Well, basically, I was on the road. I heard that they were looking for a host, and they were having different bands host a show. Metallica ended up hosting a show where they played the Hatebreed video for Perseverance, which was huge. The record was at the tail end of the cycle. It re-entered the Billboard chart at that time.
Wow.
It re-entered the top 200, and it shot up the hard chart. And so I guess because they figured I knew a lot of people and that I was touring with a lot of the bands that they would have on the show anyways, that I would be a good choice. But they wanted me to do an audition tape, and there was nobody around. I was trying to get Al Jorgensen. He was playing the Palladium in Worcester, and he's actually open to it. He said,
Ministry.
Yeah,
I met Al.
Yeah, he. I gotta say that was really cool of him to even agree to do it. But I couldn't get out there. But then I saw Vanilla Ice was in Hartford, and I called him, and I'm like, dude, please, because we had done some shows, Hatebreed and Vanilla Ice, weird combination, but we did some shows and they were great. This is when he was trying to do some rock stuff. Yeah, and so I interviewed him. I sent the tape in, and I think that's what got me the gig.
Oh, that's.
But I feel a connection to Jamie because Jamie's like an artist, but he just likes to do lots of things. I mean, when he was over here, he was telling me about how to do merchandising, and he was on some indie record stuff, and he's produced a lot of rock versions of hip hop songs.
That's kind of fly, man.
And he's just a hustler. I like hustlers.
Yeah, that's dope. But honestly, he did a record on the Body Count album too, though.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that later, where he came in and just rocked with me, and I've worked with him with his side group, Ice Pick. But, when you meet Jamie, you understand why he does and he works, because he's such a personable, very cool person. A lot of people that are artists, they're kind of quiet or removed, but Jamie gets right in there and stuff. So, today we're going to do the podcast, and I said we need a guest. And next thing you know, he's driving from Connecticut.
Yeah.
What was the commercial where it's, you all right? I learned it by watching you. All the hustling, all the diversifying.
Yeah.
I learned it from you, my friend.
It's fun to be diversified, though.
Yeah. And plus, you know how it is with music. If you know that if you could survive 10 years with music, that's like 5 years too many. So I figured go into TV, have a backup plan, have something. I mean, luckily with Hatebreed, I've been, I haven't worked a regular job since 96, 95.
Wow. But you work. Well, I mean, we saw y'all in concert, and Hatebreed is not to be fucked with.
Thank you. Well, coming from you, that's an honor.
Oh, no, come on, man.
It's real, though. It's not fake. It's real.
It's real. That was Mickey's first time seeing it. He was like, yo.
I'm like, they're amazing. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was a fun show. Yeah, Heavy Montreal was amazing. Everybody who played, I mean, that's just like one of the best festivals that there is out there. I wish that we had something like that here.
Yeah, it's crazy. So there's so much to talk about Jamie Jasta. He's on Twitter with everybody at Jamie Jasta. And, there's so much to talk about with him. We're going to get into him later on in the podcast. But right now, you ready to sit in and ride with us through this?
I am.
You know how we do here. We just talk about everything real quick and fast. And we get the Mick Benzo opinion, which is
love it.
Always wonderful. So this is podcast number 21. And here we go. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. They're the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website. Now, if you can use Facebook, you can build a website on Squarespace. I built Ice-T, FinalLevel.com, and PBHgear.com on Squarespace. And my podcast network built their site, ParagonCollective.com, on Squarespace too. Okay? We using it, all right, for real. It's the easiest and best website builder out there, so you should definitely check them out. Start with a free trial at squarespace.com with no credit card required. When you're ready to purchase a plan, get 10% off with the offer code ICE. That's squarespace.com, offer code ICE. Hey, this is Final Level Podcast number 21, and this is sports.
Oh, I got some good sports, man. I'm kind of missing my guy right now, man.
Derek?
He played 20 seasons as a New York Yankee, the captain of the ship.
He's
my
a bad man,
Derek Jeter.
And he was a bad man.
And you know what? He's never really got into the press on any negative anything. He played a very well season for 20 of them.
I met Jeter, and Jeter was just the coolest dude. Laid back, so confident. I mean, this dude would go entire seasons without one error. How do you do that at shortstop?
Amazing class act. They had us on the field at the Cleveland Indians Stadium. Went out there and we saw Derek early in the day at our bass player and our guitar player saw him at Starbucks. And when we got there, he recognized us, and we're out there. I got video of it, of watching them warm up and everything. Came over, said hello. Just the coolest class act.
Oh, just class.
Think about this too. He had that injury, right? The ankle injury. A couple papers tried to herb him out, saying that he gained weight or whatever. But he never pissed hot. He never had a dirty test. All these guys try to lose weight. They go on diuretics. They go on steroids, whatever. He never cheated. He was always a class act.
Derek Jeter, man.
I miss my man DJ.
So what you think Derek's going to do now? Just, he got cake. He can just sit back. But people like that don't sit back. What do you think he's going to do? Become an owner or something?
Just orgies on a yacht.
Is he single too, right?
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, my goodness.
When I was at MTV, he was dating the girl who was doing TRL.
I think he's dating whoever he wants.
Derek can date any guy. But he's so smooth with it, too. Just cool as a cucumber,
But
man.
he keeps it cool.
What he's doing now, he's setting up some things, I guess, so that other players can interact more with their fans. He came up with something. It's on the internet that he came up and got a website that he's doing, because he couldn't stay just sitting home twiddling his thumbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he might come back. No, he might come back as a manager. I think he'll come back as a manager. I don't think he's going to own any team. I think he'll come back as a manager.
He's a good role model, though. I mean, I think that people think that when you become successful, you got to be in the press. You got to have all this drama. And I'm you can fly smooth and under the radar, but it's really about your performance, you know? Mm-hmm. And that man performed. I always use him as an example. I'm like, professional sports is one of the hardest jobs to keep because somebody can walk and take your job if they're better. You know, if they're better, you just go in there and prove it. And to be the captain of the Yankees, that's not a slump team, you know? No. We can't do nothing but send out love to Derek Jeter. God bless you. Hopefully you continue to have a great life. You did so much for so many people as far as being a champion, and you went out on a fly note, and that's rare today.
Yeah, he's a winner, baby.
On the way out, they try to crush you.
Derek, if you come back, make sure you're the Yankees manager. Don't go nowhere else.
And that was sports. Okay, this is Final Level Podcast number 21, and we're talking about movies. And on the last podcast, we were trying to come up with the name of this movie that Keanu Reeves is in, and Jamie Jasta knows the name.
Yes, it's John Wick.
Yeah, and it's a gangster movie, and it's directed by a couple of cats. It's not out yet. It might be out by the time this podcast airs, but it's a tough movie. And the cool thing is this dude goes on a rampage because these motherfuckers kill his dog.
They kill his dog.
They kill his dog. And that's enough for him to don't fuck with my dog.
It makes sense to me because some of them dogs are humans to people. That's their family, B. For real, for real.
Sure.
Yeah, somebody fuck with Spartacus. I'm going
Max and Sparty can cause your life. I'll tell you a little story, something like that. Africa Bambaataa used to have a cat called Powhacket, right? In Bronx River, New York, in the Bronx.
Wait a minute, what name?
Powhacket.
Powhacket?
Powhacket.
With a T.
So someone stole his cat, and he knew who did it. You know, he took 150 people to that guy's block.
Wow.
I don't know what happened to the guy, but we got the cat back.
Why you gonna mess with Bam's cat?
You don't mess with nobody.
No.
Pets, man.
I got a movie you gotta see.
See?
Tusk.
Tusk?
Tusk.
Okay, what's it about?
All right. The guy, Kevin Smith, who was in Clerks.
Right.
He did a podcast, and on the podcast, he mentions this story where this guy is on Craigslist looking for somebody to live with, a roommate, but the deal is they got to dress up like a walrus, like a couple hours out of the week.
Okay.
So they turned this into a movie, but it's really fucking dark and twisted. Did you see Human Centipede?
Yeah. Right. On my date night, me and Coco do date nights, right? On Sunday night, we go to the movies. I'm going to tell her,
flip.
we going to go see a movie about a war.
She's going to be like, what did you take me to? Tusk. I don't know if it's still in the theaters, but when it comes on DVD.
Okay. Final Level Podcast people, go see Tusk. And tweet me back and let me know if Jamie sent us to some crazy bullshit or some dope shit.
Before we go see it, y'all let us know, man. TUSK.
Because my followers, we're into the dark movies.
Yeah.
The crazy shit, the Human Centipedes, the Irreversible, Martyr, all the heavy, heavy shit. Now, we've already determined that the most disturbing movie ever made is a movie called The Serbian Film.
Oh,
see?
Can I unsee that? Let me put bleach in my eyes after watching it.
Unsee it? Was it bad? Was it that terrible?
Just don't ever watch it.
Disturbing. Don't ever watch it. That means you're going to want to watch it, but we warned you, do not watch it.
What about Antichrist?
Warning.
Did you see that?
Now, I haven't seen Antichrist, but I know with the Serbian film. I got it. I had to go through 5 sites on the internet to find it because it's banned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the story of a Serbian porno star who gets connected to the mob and they make him do weird things.
Okay, that's enough information.
Yeah.
You have no idea
horrible
what he has to do.
What's
Did
the
you
name
see
of this movie?
Frontiers?
What's the name of this movie?
That one's
Serbian
called
film.
a Serbian film. Okay. Other than that, we're going to go see Tusk. We can give you guys a list of some of the most disturbing, wrong movies ever to see. But like Jamie says, you'll have to unsee these movies because it's going to leave a fucked up. You know what I watched on the plane, though, coming back? A movie that I watched back in the day, but I watched it over again. And it was...
Was it Toy Story 2?
Once Upon a Time in America.
That was a good movie, though. It was a good movie.
But what's in that movie that people overlook? Do you really know what's in that movie? When you see it now, I see something that most people didn't see in that movie.
What could that be?
De Niro
Robert was in there?
doing a couple of rapes in the movie. Heavy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, heavy shit. So it's kind of like, and Coco watched it, says, I don't really see Robert doing it like that. But now if you watch the movie with all this attention at what's going on right now, that movie got some pretty interesting scenes. He does his girlfriend because she leaves him, and he does a girl during a robbery.
I think that's coming off of you from working on Law and Order. You're overlooking.
Jamie knows this movie,
Yeah.
right? It's called Once Upon a with what's his name? James Wood.
Yeah,
It's
great
a,
actor.
It's a wonderful movie. It's 4 hours long. Once Upon a Time, if you want to see Robert De Niro do some SVU shit,
See?
check that out. But I had a good time. I mean, it's Smooth the Hustler named his album Once Upon a Time in America, and that was movies. Final Level Podcast number 21 with Jamie Jasta, a hate breed, in the building with me.
Yes.
And we going to talk about TV right now. This segment is television. I've been watching this crazy-ass show. It just came on last night. I've been watching it. It's called The Town of the Living Dead. And it's a show. It's on the Sci-Fi Channel. And it's about some people that decided to make a zombie movie, but they live in this Christian town. And this is what got me. They've been working on this movie for 6 years.
6 years and just now getting it on Sci-Fi Channel?
It ain't done. It's only, the guy said it's only like 40%.
Damn.
They ain't got no money. They out buying ketchup to make the blood. They trying to make coffee grinds and everything together. They threw the blood on the people that look like shit. They got just neighborhood people trying to be zombies. It is the funniest show, but just to watch people struggle to make a film, it lets you know how hard it is to make a movie. And one guy's a director, the guy's a writer. This one lady, she's financing the entire movie. She's somebody's grandmother.
So
What's the budget?
So they actually struggling to make that movie while I'm watching Good Times, and they struggling to live in the damn projects, man. I'm watching Good Times while you watching that. They struggling in projects.
They've been making this movie for 6 years. Fuck Good Times. They've been making this movie for 6 years, and the lady said so far she spent $25,000.
Come on.
So that's like less than $5,000 a year. But
Not on the movie.
we gotta see this. Turn it on, put it into your TiVo. It's called The Town of the Living Dead. It's on Sci-Fi, and it's something to watch. And I liked it. And
They just got a good plug from you, I mean,
Right.
maybe. Now, what if they do like a Kickstarter or something because of all this,
We're gonna
exposure they're getting?
We're gonna look for 20%.
I'm gonna
back.
watch that movie, man, just to see. I mean, sometimes movies are so bad that they're good.
Did you see Birdemic? That guy followed me on Twitter, and I was like, "Yo, I'll tweet about it." And he sent me the DVD, but I didn't watch it.
Birdemic. It
Yeah.
can't be worse than Sharknado.
No, this got voted the worst movie ever. Birdemic. You got to check it out.
I think the worst movie ever was supposed to be Plan 9 from Outer Space with Bela Lugosi.
Really?
The one where Bela Lugosi died halfway through the movie, and the rest of the movie was a dude with a cape. Holding his nose. Plan 9 from Outer Space. We're
I'll have to
talking
see
about
that.
bad movies.
That's bad.
Oh, they got this one thing where they're supposed to be in a spaceship and it's a room and shit's moving around and ray guns and bullshit. But that's one thing to watch on television. Another one is a TV show called Gotham. And Donald Logue.
You know what? I did see that on Fox. I seen
Yeah.
it. Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a prequel to Batman.
Right.
And let you know what was happening in Gotham City. But Donald, who played the chief for a minute on Law and Order, he went over there. Now he's playing a cop on that show. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed it.
I like The Following. Kevin Bacon.
We've promoted The Following on here before.
That was good.
Is it back on yet?
Soon, I think.
No, it ain't on yet. It
No?
didn't come. No, I don't think it got picked up.
Oh no, you know what was on American Horror Story? That premiered recently.
Coco loves that. The new one is called Freak Show.
Yes.
Oh shit!
It's got the world's smallest Lady.
They're not freaks, okay? They say we're not freaks, okay?
They call themselves freaks.
Human.
They come out at night.
Yeah, the freaks come out at night.
He said it. The freaks come out at night.
So there you go. We got 4 TV shows you should watch. We got The Town of the Living Dead. This is some like documentary reality shit about some people trying to make a zombie movie.
Gotham.
Got Donald from my show. He's got a new gig.
Person of interest.
That's Mickey's pick. And then what was the last one?
Good Times.
Not fucking Good
American Horror Story.
American Horror Story freaks. Tune into them and enjoy television.
That was TV.
Hey guys, I talk about Squarespace all the time on the Final Level podcast. That's because they really are the business. Now, we've been getting a lot of great emails at iceandmick@gmail.com that you guys send us about your Squarespace sites. Here's one from Joey McKinney. Hey, Ice and Mick, you guys are the reason me and my crew started our own podcast. And because of you, we're also using Squarespace. We love it. Squarespace is the perfect web host for all our podcasts, and it fits our needs. Thank you for the great music, podcasts, and all-around dedication to hip-hop. You guys are true OG pioneers and a huge inspiration. Thanks, Joe. That was dope. Also, you can go check out Joe's site at liquidsunshinepodcast.com. They got their episodes up there, contact form, the whole works. Seriously, if you need a beautiful and easy way to create a website for yourself for your own business, Squarespace is your golden ticket. Start with a free trial, no credit card required. Just go to squarespace.com. When you're blown away and ready to confirm a plan, use the offer code ICE to get 10% off. You'll be getting a great deal, and you'll be supporting the podcast, helping to keep it free. That's SQUARESPACE.com, offer code ICE. And don't forget to send your Squarespace site to us. That's at iceandmick@gmail.com. And we might even talk about your site on the show. That's squarespace.com, offer code ICE. All right, so now on the Final Level Podcast, we're very honored to have our guest, Jamie Jasser, who, like I said earlier in the show, I met back during the Headbangers Ball. We had the privilege of working together on one of his side projects, and then he just came back and blessed the Body Count album with some crazy lyrics on the song Pop Bubble Full of Bullshit, and he's in the house. So it's time for me to interview you.
Thank you for having me. You are too kind.
So Hatebreed, let's just start with that. How long has the band been around? When did it start?
This November will be the 20th anniversary.
Damn.
Yeah.
20 years?
Yeah.
Not a new band.
No. And, we were...
But you only look 21.
Oh, thank you.
I thought you was fucking 23 years old, man.
I'm just turned 37, so... But,
So that means you started the band when you were 17?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And me and the bass player, we were in other bands, whatever, and we got together with a drummer in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We used to just jam in the basement, and our guitar player, Wayne, our original guitar player, he's back in the band now. So us three, we still got 3 of the original guys. Mm-hmm. Matt used to be in a band called All Out War, and Frank was in a band called Terror. He was also in a band called Ringworm. Matt joined in 2000, right before the Perseverance album. Frank joined in 2006. So, we're going to celebrate the 20th anniversary coming up. We're trying to do some local shows around here, but we're already booked on a tour with Zach Wilde, which is going to be playing. I think the closest show is probably Hartford or Philly or something.
That's hot, man.
But it's that tour is going out day after Christmas.
And the thing of it is, when people hear the word tour,
they think 30 days.
30 days. Sometimes tours are 4 days. Sometimes it's a weekend tour. You might hit 3 or 4 cities in South America or whatever and stuff. We're going to talk about your South America experience lightly. But, when you're doing music full time, I always tell people you can't just play down the street. You know, you got to move around because the homies down the street done heard you rehearse. They done heard you practice. They know who you are. You have to leave town and you have to spend a lot of time on the road. So when you first started, I always like to ask people, what was now, of course, we got tour buses and things, but what was it like when you guys were first starting?
Oh, I mean, we did station wagons. We did BD, our bass player, he would show up in the ambulance because he worked, as a medic, or we would literally we would borrow everybody's gear. Like we would show up and we would just borrow the other band's gear. Like a lot of times we didn't even show up with equipment. I mean, it was wild style back then. I mean,
and they allowed you to play on their equipment?
Some bands did.
What happened when they didn't?
There was a band that became very famous, this band AFI. Mm-hmm. They had like mega hits, platinum albums. We went down to Florida with no gear. Okay. And we had one show. We drove all the way to Florida for this one show. The show was off the hook. Blood let us borrow their gear, a band from Florida. But then we saw AFI was playing, and they were playing a Christian coffee house, and we were like, fuck it, let's go and see if and they let us jump up on their gear. I mean, how cool is that? And we played a set. We opened for AFI. Cool. And
have you ever been turned down when somebody said nah and you missed a gig like that?
A couple times, but actually one time we showed up late. I won't say who the band was.
No, right. We don't do that. Right, we don't do that.
But they made us headline, and that was an eye opener. But the one thing that was amazing was we kept the crowd. The crowd stayed. They were like, really? You're going to play after so-and-so? How can you do that? And so the crowd stayed, and we ripped
wait, another pause. So what happens is, because you showed up late,
the headliner punished us.
The headliner punished you by making you play after them.
Yes.
So they made you headline.
Yes.
Now, people might not understand what that can do.
Closing a
show after a big act. Mm-hmm. In this business, you want to play your position. If you're a new act, you don't want to go on after the headliner, because the headliner, that's why everyone showed. That's what people bought the tickets for. People could potentially walk out on you.
Yeah. Have no crowd.
And also, you don't want to play too close to the headliner because people are anxious to see the headliner. So you could get booed and they can start chanting the next band's name if you're going too long. So it's very interesting when you're building a fan base.
It's to play your position.
Play your position.
Well, that gave us the confidence. Like that really gave us the confidence. I used to drive into Brooklyn multiple times during a week, and I would intern at a booking agency, and I started seeing how like the inner workings of the clubs and the tours and stuff. And I'll shout out Ken Creedy and John Finberg. They gave me an opportunity, and I would go to L'Amour's, and I would see Biohazard and Life of Agony and Typo Negative, and my goal was
I love Typo Negative.
Typo was great. We took them on the Jaeger tour in 2008. We co-headlined with them, and we closed the show. But that part of that was having the confidence, knowing that you can be the headliner. Sometimes that's a big jump for an act.
She's in love with herself.
And
she likes the dark. That's my shit.
I got a good story about Pete Steele, I should tell you. Pete Steele,
devil's mark.
Rest in peace.
That's my shit.
There'll never be another voice like him. Rest in peace. He's one of the coolest guys we ever toured with. One night, he was a fan of redheads, so he had, and he was in Playgirl. I don't know if you know this. He was naked in Playgirl.
We don't know that.
He had a extremely large female fan base that would come because he at one time he was this handsome, very muscular gothic guy. And so one night this cute redhead was sitting on his lap, and since we were technically closing the show, I thought it'd be funny to go and say hey, why don't you come with me? And so the girl's like, okay, and she started coming with me, and he goes, you're off the tour.
You can't steal that.
You can't jack his bitch, man.
No, man, that'll always cause a problem.
Can't jack her, baby.
But anyways, what I was going to say about L'Amour's was that was my goal. Like my goal starting with the band, I said I want to headline Roseland and sell it out, which we did. And I want to headline L'Amour's and sell it out, which we did. So like anything beyond that is just like gravy at this point. We could break up tomorrow, and I would be happy with just that.
You still didn't answer the question. You said you rode in a bus or a truck or a car to get somewhere with no gear, and I said, have you been turned down from a gear to play?
Yeah, have you ever got stuck?
No, we've lucked out. We did a whole Danzig tour where we showed up in a van on top of the gear, and this is how cool Danzig is. I know a lot of people say he's hard to deal with, but for us, when he saw that, he said, "You guys are sleeping on top of your gear in a van." He's like, "Put your gear in my truck." Mm-hmm. And then he would leave, like, in the dressing room would have tons of drinks and food and stuff, and he said, "Take it all."
I met Glenn before.
He was always good to us.
You know what, man? People like to see people grinding and struggling. I mean, we just came off Mayhem Fest, and there was one group out there, and they were all driving around in a truck. You know, we had a tour bus, and we seen them, and I just decided I want to go and just be nice to them. You know, because we've all done that. I've done the 12-passenger van. I've done the cars. We did a tour a rap tour where me and Smooth the Hustler and my group, we would fly to different cities, rent a car, take that car to maybe 3 shows, drop the car off, get on another plane, go to the next place. But the problem was every time we would drop the cars off, they were totaled out. They were totaled out and stuff. But we toured all through the Ozarks and shit like that. And, you got to get it done. And then you have your overhead of the expenses it takes to go on tour, and a lot of time they don't want to pay you any money. You're out there trying to get it going, and it's just a grind, man.
It is.
And I think all bands have gone through it. That's why you respect it when you finally work your way up to getting a tour bus or having a room. Like, how about rooms?
Yeah.
Just like, do y'all got a hotel room? Like, it's crazy, and people have this bent belief that just because you're playing in front of lots of people, you're making lots and lots of money. But it's a hard grind because it's not like one person walks on stage. It's a band, and it's roadies and it's people, mm-hmm. And then you start to say, oh, okay, we're bigger now, so let's bring production. So, like, when we were just out there, what was the headliner of Mayhem Fest?
Avenged Sevenfold.
Avenged Sevenfold. They had a fucking castle.
Unbelievable.
They had a castle. So, it all has to weigh out where, you could spend so much money bringing all this production, and that requires 6 semi-trucks and all that shit. But
they were smart. They reinvested in the show, and that built them up to headliner status. I've always given them the respect, and I've had John Reese.
Sevenfold?
Yeah, and I had John Reese on my show, and we talked about you guys being like one of the standout bands on the tour and stuff, and he was saying, the reason why he gave Avenged that slot like that, because they were willing to take a little bit out of their check and make a show and give the fans something that I remember. I mean, obviously it resonated with you. You're like, they got a fucking castle. I mean, people it really does resonate with people.
Yeah, I thought I was watching Iron Maiden.
You remember it because it's a show.
Yeah.
But like you said, though, it's starving artists if you want to be in this game. And you did it. You said you rode on.
Everybody
you slept
did.
on top of your gear in the van.
Yeah.
Because you had no place to put it.
Yeah.
But then people look at, oh man, Jamie got it, man. Look at Jay. He could hook us up. You're like, damn it, ain't nobody hooked me up.
Right.
I bust my ass to get here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bust my ass to stay here.
Yeah, no, when I deal with a lot of younger bands, I don't do it as much because my label's pretty much like done with, and I can't.
Right,
I don't have the
anybody
time.
feature with you. There you go.
Yeah, but like at that time, like the younger bands would see us on the bus, and they would see us, packing clubs or big theaters or whatever, and they would want that. And I said, but you don't understand what
I went
into getting this.
20 years.
Yeah.
Try that.
20.
Yeah. I mean, we just came back this summer. We had we headlined a bunch of big festivals in Germany. Some of the shows, some of the shows that we headlined festivals had 30,000, 40,000 people. Some of the ones where we opened, like the one you guys saw, Heavy Montreal, still with Slayer, there's still 20,000 people. So it's strong, but you don't just get to that point. Like you don't just skip over everybody.
Listen. When they came, when we restarted Body Count Up, we hadn't been out in 8 years. We hadn't had a good record out in maybe more than 10 years. So they said, hey, Ice, we want you to tour this summer. I said, well, look, I can't. I still have my day job, Law and Order. I have these 2 months open. Let's get on any tour possible. So they say Mayhem Fest is perfect for you. So I'm like, well, what are they going to pay us? And they're like, really, it's not a lot of money. But my agenda was like, look, if I did an Ice-T, if I did a body count show, the only people that are going to see me are the fans of the band. I need to get in front of a bunch of people that don't know about us, might know about us. I need to be in front of the other band's audiences also. And we just took it and we said, you know what, as long as we can walk away from this even, and we didn't, we had to get a little tour support and all that other stuff. But we got in front of that audience, and guess what? Now the offers are coming in for some real paper, that can cover our bills and our overhead. Now people look at me, well, Ice, 25 years in the game, you're not, you taking that cut. I'm like, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
That's music.
You got to weigh it out. Like right now, we're relaunching my band. I got to start back at the bottom again.
It's not like we put records out every year for 8 years. We stop.
We stop.
And now the lane is open. Like you got to do like Ice Fest where you take out an 8-band package.
But we had to go out there and kill. We had to go out there and prove that we belong with the new bands and we can rock a crowd with the new bands again. And that we had to prove that to ourselves too. Yeah. And like we're walking out there with a new album that had only been out like 3 weeks before the tour started. We're going to try to play those songs and our old shit, and every day I would say, how many people have seen us before? None.
Yeah.
How many people like us? And that's all the hands would go up. I'm like, that's why we're here.
Audience.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. So you have to farm those fans and work them. I mean, like Mickey had never seen Hate Breed before.
I ain't never seen Hate Breed.
But now
I seen it in Montreal. Is that real? I love the way y'all took the picture. That was fly.
With the crowd.
I'm trying to steal that.
Oh, and you know what? You know why you got to do it? You know where we took that from?
Honest.
We took that from Iron Maiden.
Okay, so you did steal it from somebody.
Yeah, because listen to this. When Iron Maiden got on Facebook, they only had like 200,000-300,000 people. But when they started taking the pictures with the crowd and letting the people tag them in them, you got to like the page to tag yourself in the photo. So you figure they're in, Norway and they're playing to 50,000 people. They just got 50,000 new likes on their page, so their page went viral. I'm sure they probably have 15 million people on there
easily.
But that was like it created this huge demographic of people on Facebook.
No, let me ask you. I saw that. That was fat.
I'm gonna ask you a couple quick questions that might be a little bit controversial, just because you have been embedded in the metal scene. And you know everybody and their mother the same way I know everybody in hip hop. I've been in metal, but I'm not in as depth. I'm fortunate. I know a lot of the big boys. When we first got in, when like groups like Slayer and groups like Henry Rollins and all of them gave us the thumbs up, we were like, we're good.
Yeah.
But I notice in the rock world, it just doesn't seem to be as much. I hate to say it, but as much petty bullshit as it is in hip hop. Like people seem to be more cool with each other. Are there bands that don't get along? And is any, what I'm talking about? How hip hop people hate each other and always I ain't touring with this dude. I can't see. I didn't notice that in rock.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I tried to pitch a project called Rock Beef, the DVD, because the Beef DVDs were huge, right? And this is at the time when DVDs were still selling and Best Buy was carrying DVD. And it was hard to get off the ground. It was hard to get a script written. It was hard to make it happen because there wasn't enough
rock beef.
And people didn't want to talk about it on camera. Like, who are you going to talk to? You're going to say, okay, Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue, he hates Sully from Godsmack. Okay, maybe that's one segment. What are you going to do? 4 minutes, 5 minutes on that? You got Slipknot at one point. They had a beef with Limp Bizkit, but that's squashed. It's old news. So it's like, now I think what's happened is everybody's grown up and they've gotten, a lot of guys are sober now.
Right.
And then they've gotten the partying and the crazy and they got the drugs out of the system. Like when we finally got on tour with, say, like a band like Korn, we did Europe with them and we did Australia. The partying days were over. We had heard like nightmare stories about them. Everybody's cool. They're sweet. They're
cool.
The nicest guys ever. Because I think it's just all out of their system. So you're not dealing with these rock star egos anymore. Like, and that's why I think maybe that there isn't any sort of rock beef anymore. If there was, I don't think it would lead to record sales like it did in hip hop.
No, I think rock motherfuckers is more like prove it on the stage.
Yeah,
I don't think they spend a lot of time talking about each other on the press and all that bullshit that hip hoppers do. They talk a lot, but I think rock motherfuckers is like, oh, nice meeting you. Just sat and said, watch my show, blah, and they just rip the fucking show
like you do,
and then you go, Okay, stay clear of them motherfuckers. And then they're back at catering. Hey, how you doing? Okay, this is my kid, and this, that, and the other. And then they go, and they just, I like that, though. You just prove it on the playing field, man. Yeah. We don't talk about it. We prove it on the playing field. You think I suck? Come to my show, motherfucker, and watch what I do. And I like that.
Yeah, no, there's some competition elements in there. You don't hear about it because people don't want to talk about it publicly. Like, I had an issue where a band, we found out they were someone in the band
sabotaging.
Yeah, they were lowering our volume.
Sabotaging.
And bullshit.
And I actually, it burned me for a long time, but now I actually like look at it as a compliment.
They were worried about you.
Yeah, and also they came and they cut down all the merch designs. They said, "No, you're done." I said, "Oh, well, we're contracted for 6 or 7 designs or whatever." Nope, you're selling 2. You're selling 1 because we're just blowing out of merchandise. So, you know, that's one thing we've been very blessed with Hatebreed is that even if you don't know of the band, you've seen the logo, you know the flames, and the merchandise it keeps everybody living it.
Here's a question that might be taboo, but I'm gonna ask it anyway because you're an OG. When we got out there, what's up with playback?
All right, so tape. We just talked about this on my show, actually.
Okay, so let's talk about this, because I was unaware, right? Like, I'm like, you know, I'm out there, and I'm like watching all these guys playing, and I'm like, this shit is so dope, and we play live. Every fucking thing you hear is live. But then I was noticing some people weren't. How does that play in the rock world? How do they feel about that?
That's a great segment for I'm not a hater. But and so this is the thing. Like I had Jim Florentine, who's a big fan of yours. He's a comedian. He hosted that metal show on VH1, and he said on my show, "Oh, I love the Body Count album. That's one of his top records of the year." And we talked about on that episode how, you know, Motley Crue came on that metal show, and Mick Mars said, "I don't like that the backups are on tape." I mean, he's in the band and doesn't even have a choice because, you know, when you go out there and you see Motley Crue and you hear he's the one they call Dr. Feelgood, you know, that's a tape playing that. And a lot of bands don't want their spot blown up, but I mean, it is hard day in and day out to hit the key, to hit the notes, especially with the backups, and you don't, you know, maybe you don't want to bring out backup singers. Maybe you don't have the budget to bring out extra players for the extra tracks.
But some of it's not backup. Some of it is the actual thickness of the record.
Yes, see, and that you're right about saying it's very taboo. Like, I've been told by high-powered managers and agents, like, hey, you know, don't embarrass these guys out in public, or whatever. And I never would.
No, I would never say a name of a band.
It's definitely commonplace, and a lot of people's favorite bands are using at least backing tracks. I asked a band called The Day to Remember, who are huge right now. They're selling out like smaller arenas and big theaters, and he says, "Oh, I admit it." He's like, "I'll tell you, like, we have some lower screams and some backup vocals that we have, you know, coming through the laptop, but everything else is real." And if you go watch them live, like they did Reading and Leeds, like 80,000 people, he's hitting some clams here and there. It's not totally on key, and so, you know, his main vocal is real, and the guitar player, you can hear like little flubs here and there, so you know it is real. But there are some bands that do need a little boost with the backing tracks.
When we play live and Ice screams every goddamn night. We got no backup tracks, we got nothing. Voice wakes up for the next day and do the same thing. It's unfair. That's like R&B music.
It is kind of unfair in a way.
That's R&B. That's not rock. That's not fair.
Well, look at like a band like Nirvana. They would have never run tape. They would have never run tracks. I
think now my point, I think, is certain rock, like if you're like industrial stuff, like. Like we went out early with 9 Inch Nails and stuff like that, and that's a lot of electronic shit, you know. So it has a different type of a feel than necessarily metal and stuff. So sometimes that stuff, it gets kind of ding 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 ding. But I mean, I just wanted to ask his opinion. I don't know whether it's fair or not. I don't know whether it's okay. But you know, when I go to see a rock band, that's part of the stigma. Is like enjoying to see that's a real guitar playing, that's a real drummer, that guy is really that good, he sounds that good and stuff. And I'm not even so much as the vocals, I'm talking about the actual groove,
you
know,
the band,
and like
instruments.
We was on the stage every night right after we played. We go watch Cannibal Corpse and
they rip it.
They rip that shit
and
every night.
George is all day, day doing
and
him.
They locked
in the back,
no pitch shifter.
Nothing in the back.
That's
it's
really
all
his.
It's all guitar and drums and vocals.
And no pedals.
Yeah,
it's really that. His voice is really that guttural.
Yeah.
He wakes up the next day and does it again.
You gotta see this Hendrix experience. There's a guitar player, I think his name's Eric Gales.
Mm-hmm.
The kid is, I mean, he's probably not a kid. I mean, he's probably, I don't know, maybe he's in his mid-30s, but singing Hendrix, and there was no laptops on the stage. Good. Amazing. Everybody who comes out and plays, Zach Wilde came out and played, but everybody who came out and played that night, it really struck a chord with me, because you're seeing the actual playing, you're witnessing the talent, and you're absorbing the energy there live. There's no laptops, there's no fakery. It's all real. And so you never know, like, when you're going to get another opportunity to see someone do their craft at 110% like that, a couple feet from you or whatever, in the same room. It was incredible.
Well, just for the record, Hatebreed is playing live. Body Count is playing live. That's why sometimes we suck.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just it. But we got, you got the courage to go out there, and I can stop the song in the middle. I can change the song. I can go, if I decide I want to keep the riff going longer and longer and talk. We have all those capabilities and stuff. And I just don't know how cool it is or whatever, but I was kind of like disillusioned that I was hearing playback in rock and in metal and stuff. And, people probably say, oh, why? I'm not hating. I'm just saying that I think that, maybe my bubble got bursted a little bit out there. Because I haven't been backstage that many. I was backstage at a big rock band show, and I'm not going to say their name, but I was at a big rock band show, and I looked, and I was watching and I was enjoying it, and I looked to the left, and it's like Pro Tools was going, Yeah. And I was like, that's not what am I hearing? And then I got enough people that are engineers that know, what's going on. But hey, that's neither here nor there.
I was in Australia, Warped Tour. This is how the kids don't even know. It's so blatant. The sound engineer for one of the bands goes, hey, play the vocal track and test the monitor. And so they're just playing the vocal track of this band through the monitors
during the sound check.
During the sound check, we were getting ready because we were going to do our line check next. So our fans aren't necessarily the same fans of the next band because it's a festival. So our fans, they were like, "What is that?" Because he can't really hear because the monitors are facing the other way.
Right.
But he's saying it over the talkback mic. Play the vocal, and they're just playing the lead vocal through the monitors, so the guy can hear his own vocal to lip sync to.
So he can lip sync it.
So everything you see,
but that's just one. That's just one thing, Yeah,
it can be an illusion, but hey, let's end it on this good note. My hats go off to all the people who still do it live, and
I like live.
Even in hip hop, I always hated rappers that rapped over their lyrics.
Play the instrument and rap. I like it live.
I always would. Although we use backing tracks, we don't have bands most of the time, but every album I ever made, there's a instrumental album I would do, and I would do that in the studio. I say, give me we call it TV track. Give me a TV track, and that's all I will perform over. I will not rap over any of my lyrics. That's Milli Vanilli. I'm not with that. So hats go off to everybody out there that's still doing live music, and say the playback for when you're fucking around doing your music video. That's when you use playback.
Right, that's video. That's music video.
And I've seen like I watched some footage of you doing songs in Vegas where you go over the instrumental. But if you go on YouTube and you watch some rap shows, and I used to book a bunch of rap shows, and there was times where they didn't even have a DJ, where we just had to put in the CD over the regular system. And they did, they would go out there.
Well, I think still should have been instrumental.
The only time that's acceptable is like sometimes you'll do an appearance, and that's not a show. That's an appearance. Say me and Coco will show up at a club, and all of a sudden colors will come on, and then everybody starts looking at you, and then they hand you the mic.
And it's cool for that.
And you kind of sing along.
Right.
That's not a concert. That's not a concert. You didn't pay to see a concert.
Yeah.
You've paid for an appearance. I might touch the mic with somebody playing one of the records. I think that's
well, no. If I come If I come to perform, I'm going to bring the instrumental.
Yeah.
But if you kind of put me on the spot someplace and put my record on, and then you want me to sing, and now here's the mic coming over at me, that's that situation. But once again, hats go off to all the musicians that are out there doing it live. I think that's what the audiences want to see. That's when you're really proving you're a badass. It takes a lot of time and technical. It takes a lot to get your guitars and your amps and everything locked in to get that crunch and to get that sound, and it's very difficult to do it. I mean, my band labor over it, trying to get it so when the solo comes up, it hits the right pitch and all that. It's very, very hard. And so then you see somebody that's running a track, you're like, what's really going on, right?
Yeah. You know what I wish they had in rock, which you guys, all the hip hop guys did right, was you could do an appearance, you could do a walkthrough, and get paid. We could never do that in rock or metal. If I asked, like, say, when we used to have to do these after parties, and you go to after party and you DJ, you have to DJ or you have to do something to get a fee. And I used to say to like a lot of these clubs or bars or whatever that would say, "Oh, you guys kind of come through after the show." I'd be like, well, why? We're going to bring all these people there. They're going to drink at your bar, and we can't get any cut of that. We're bringing in the crowd.
That doesn't make sense.
It's like rock has this like guilt. Rock has this guilt, or punk rock especially, and hardcore has this guilt about making money, which I wish just would stop, because
that's bullshit.
It doesn't make sense.
You got kids.
Hip hop always did that right.
Not if you're gonna say hypothetically, yo, it's Jamie, I'm gonna be over at Lucy's right after the party. Right after the show. Now, 200 people come over, they buy soda, they buy beer, they buy this, and you ask me to make an appearance, then you pay me for an appearance, and you pay me because I shouted it out.
You put me on the flyer. And you know what? And I got to answer, Jamie, for all these people that say, hey, you punk rock, you shouldn't want no money. Hey, check this out. I don't want no money. My kids need it.
Yeah.
Okay? I got kids. I got a wife. I got family. I got cousins. I got people. People can look at me right now and go, well, I see you on Law and Order. You got money. You don't need money. I'm like, my band members aren't on Law and Order. My crew, my management.
I ain't on Law and Order.
So, right. So I got to get paid even if I don't take the money.
Yeah, when we talked about your meet and greet on my show, I forgot to make this point, and a lot of people also don't realize this, especially fans, when they complain about the paid meet and greets. These are done by companies who are fans, and they are providing a service. So, like, I love how everybody just assumes that everything just filters right up to the artist. It doesn't. The artist is the last person to get paid. The agents, the managers, the road crew, the bus company, everybody gets paid before the artist. So, as fans out there listening, keep that in mind. The best thing you can do is buy the CD. The best thing you can do is go to the concert, and the best thing you can do is buy the T-shirt. That doesn't all filter directly to the
That's
artist.
true. The merchandising company going to get his.
Yeah.
The venue that you're selling it at, he's going to get his.
Taxman is going to get his.
Like you said, it doesn't filter in your pocket every dime. Yes, you may make a few pennies on it, but it's to promote the band, keep the band fresh, keep people thinking, saying, and seeing the band with a T-shirt.
I tell people like this. Think of it like this: every artist you got is a company, and every company consists of no less than probably 10 people. So if you're Jamie Jasser, you're Hate Breeder, I'm Ice-T, the Ice-T company has to be paid. There's 10 people in my world that are counting to pay their rent. So money has to be made for the company. No one person. Beyonce isn't one person. Beyonce's probably 25 people.
Easily. Mm-hmm. She probably has different agents for different career paths. She probably has a makeup agent and a clothing agent and an appearance agent and a TV. And
then you wonder, well, how are these artists, or they end up broke at the end of the day? I'm like, yo, when a fighter walks into a fight and he wins $1 million, if he walks with $100,000 of that,
he's lucky.
He's lucky out of a million
Yeah.
because he's got trainers. He's got all the people who loaned him money up to that point. He's got people that's provided for him. He's got. It's just these are big businesses. And whenever you say,
and if
"Hey,
you're working with Don King, you got to pay for the towel.
yeah,
Yeah.
So when you go out on the road, and you know, people say, "Well, you guys are complaining." No, we're not complaining. We're just trying to explain to you on the podcast the reality of what this is.
And if you like what you're getting, sometimes I don't really like to call music a product, but
It is
like,
a product.
But if you go to like Starbucks every day and you're getting something that you like, you have no problem giving them money every day. So if you like an artist, whether it's a painter or a rapper or a heavy metal band, why is it such an issue to give them a couple bucks? Like, I really think the fans need to rethink that stance, especially when they complain about the meet and greet prices or the shirt prices or the CD prices. If you love Led Zeppelin or the Beatles, they've sold billions of records, right? You could say, oh, they don't need the money, but still, if you like the product, they deserve your money.
You're supporting the person that you're making it. You're helping them, and just think about it like that. Whoever you think is a star is feeding probably 25 other people that aren't stars.
Well, like
Yes.
I like what
Yes,
you're saying
good
too, though,
point.
Jamie. But if Jamie and Hatebreed take 6 months to make this record,
A year.
oh yeah, okay, a year.
You ain't
to
getting paid
make
during that
this
year.
13 to 15 song. They don't know it ain't done in no week. It costs money to make that. So why wouldn't you, as a fan, support the group that you like?
And every studio that I've worked with has closed. A lot of them, not everyone, but a lot of them. And then I've seen, A&R guys fired. I've seen, and people can blame the downloading or whatever. Really, I'm not mad at the streaming. I'm not mad at even the downloading, because I realize that downloading can be shared like it was with the cassette tapes back in the day. I mean, my friend had the Crush Groove soundtrack. I went and dubbed the tape, same with New Jack City soundtrack or Colors or, any of these great records. But eventually you buy a shirt or you go to the concert or you support the artist eventually if you like it. I just feel like the way that we never, I guess, protected our intellectual property is the reason why a lot of people are in the position they're in now.
So now you understand why Ice-T does TV, makes records, Jamie Jasta does hosting, does podcasts, does this, does that. You got to do a lot of different things, because Henry Rollins gave me the game back in the day. He said, whatever your integrity is, you don't have to jeopardize that integrity. Just create another identity and do other jobs. So if I don't want to ever do pop rap, well, maybe I'll just do a rock album. If I don't ever want to do soft rock, well, maybe I'll act. I'll keep the integrity of each art form locked in, and then I'll create something else to do. Right now I'm producing an R&B artist. You know what I'm saying? Zayn. It ain't an Ice-T record. It ain't a Body Count record, but I happen to like R&B. I mean, you're not going to get no chick in the bed playing Public Enemy. I mean, I got my moments when I'm listening to Sade and Blue Magic. I got all those vibes. So I just create other identities to create other revenue streams, because if I want a swimming pool, motherfucker, I want a swimming pool. And I'm not so punk that I'm against having nice things. You know what I'm saying? I think rock and roll is the Ferrari. I think that's part of it. But you have to make your decisions how you feel about life to get that money.
And the fans got to realize, if you stop giving the money, then the product or the source of the product will stop.
You'll give up.
It's just like any mom and pop restaurant. If you don't go and you don't support them, they're going to close down, and then the chain restaurant's going to pop up.
Bottom line, if you got a record deal, let's just break it down. If we put out the Body Count album and a label puts it out and it doesn't sell enough records, they're not going to want to do another album, and that'll be the end of the band. Simple as that. They're just like, we not giving y'all another budget. That's the end of the band.
You know the artist Tyrese? Mm-hmm. And he's an actor too.
Yeah.
I remember I was early days of Twitter. I was following him, and he went on this. He drops a lot of knowledge. I give that guy a lot of respect, because his album got leaked, and it was unfinished. and someone just did him real dirty, like at the studio or whatever, like leaked his stuff, and he put out like either a statement or a video or whatever, and he's like, look, see, this is why I don't fuck around with this music shit anymore. This is why I'm gonna go do whatever. I think he's in like Fast and Furious, or I think he has a couple film franchises or something, but he's like, this is why I don't fuck around with it anymore, because it's not a like nobody would go do that to, say, like someone with an oil painting. Like, you're not going to just go try to sell an unfinished, Picasso or whatever. He really made a lot of points about.
He was hurt. He felt that, man. He was pissed. I understand it.
And now the album never came out. The finished copies never made it. And so all his fans of his music were like, well, what the fuck? Why aren't you going to put it out? And he's like, because I'm going to go do acting and I'm going to do other stuff, because it literally like just burnt him out. Well,
he did a good job from the Coca-Cola commercial.
Did he?
Always.
No, but he has a point.
He made sense. He said, "You're going to steal my music and push it out, and I'm doing it in the studio that I'm paying for, and someone leak it out, which no engineer know how it got out. Then I'm not going to do music.
You know what it is?
My fans lost.
A lot of your fans are haters.
Always.
They're haters too.
Always.
So
they like you for
haters
a minute.
A confused
No,
fan.
they like you for a minute, then they hate that you're winning.
They hate, so they're like, oh, well, we took it, and you got everything else going on for you in the world, and you got a great life, and I don't, and you shouldn't, and so what? Ha, we took your record, and, they want to see you have a hard time. It's just wrong. And, but at the end of the day, Tyrese is going to be like, you know what? Whatever. That's your loss. I'm going to go off. I'm going to continue to be successful.
And the boy can sing.
Yeah, that boy's dope. Hey, but Jamie, stick around and keep talking, because we got to get to more. I mean, Jamie Jass is in the house. Hate breed. This motherfucker's not a motherfucking game. He knows everybody in the business. He's diversified.
And he plays live. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's something else. This motherfucker's something else. He's in the building. Okay. The other thing we hate is getting cut up by razors. That's why I use Bevel. Bevel is the first and only shaving system for men with coarse and curly hair. They sent Mick and I a box, and it's dope. You get this super slick stainless steel razor, a shaving brush, priming oil, shaving cream, restoring balm, and 20 bevel blades. Bevel is how real players get a great shave. Mick also loves Bevel. Every other time I see this guy, he got cuts on his face because he uses the wrong razor. Now that he found Bevel, he's shaving his face with it, and he's shaving his head with it. The man even went to his barber shop and said, do not touch me with anything but that Bevel. This stuff is the real deal. Also, I love their founder, Tristan Walker. He's a real inspirational cat. Tristan grew up in the projects of Queens and got a job at Foursquare when the company was just tiny because he loved the app and he wouldn't take no for an answer. A month after moving to New York and joining the company, he became the head of business development. After Foursquare became a sensation, he created Bevel because nobody was making shaving products for men with coarse curly hair like us. So you should definitely check out his recent CNN interview, which we'll link to our show notes. For 20% off your first box of Bevel supplies, go to getbevel.com and use the offer code ICE. Man, this would make a great holiday present, too, for your loved one, all right? That's GETBEVEL.com, offer code ICE. Please support them since they support the podcast. This is the next segment of Final Level Podcast number 21, and this is games.
Well, I don't play no games.
Yeah, he plays Angry Birds.
That ain't doing it.
And weird shit.
Flappy Bird, man.
Leave
my man alone. Y'all can't get past 7 hurdles that y'all bumping your head, so I don't give a fuck. Y'all want to play with the control all day and on. That's a fucking boring shit to me.
I got back into, I got the new Xbox One I'm waiting on
You got two of them?
I'm waiting on Advanced Warfighter to come out because that's what I do. I play that shit. But I've went back into my video games. This is something that people don't do. They play the games. They might have finished them or not, but then they just move to the next game. I got so many games back in there. So over the summer I was playing Dead Rising, an old game, but I pulled out Borderlands 2. And Borderlands 2 is this ill game where you just try to get more levels so you can get these guns and these certain guns.
Oh, that's your kind of game.
If you got a level 51 gun going against a 21 bad guy, you just annihilate him. And they shoot. You got these guns that shoot fire, that catch people on fire, and you get to see the light jump off of them in numbers. And you got some that shoot this green sludge that is like acid and stuff. And I just been playing these Borderlands, and I've been playing. They have these DLC packs that I've been playing, and I've just been having fun playing it. And it's a weird thing that happens in the game because winning these games doesn't matter to any fucking body.
It matters to you.
No, to you, it's serious fucking business. to win that. No, but no one else in the world cares. But to beat that boss, I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming of ways to kill these things. And it's such a weird warp that your brain goes in. Right now, I want to play. I'm addicted. Yeah. I want to play. And
so you sound like a little kid. Right? I want to play.
I want to play, but it doesn't matter to anyone. You can't even bring somebody else in your house over and say, "Look, I just beat this level."
It don't mean nothing to us.
Yeah, can you replay it? Like, can you do like an instant replay?
Redo it?
No, it just doesn't matter. But you gotta win.
Max Payne?
I love Max Payne.
I went to Rockstar Games, and they had me in there playing fans, and like 13-year-olds are on there like kicking the shit out of my team, swearing at us, fucking with us, and I was like, man, this is. But to them, it was everything. They were like, because I tweeted out like, all right, I'm at Rockstar Games, add me on your gamer tag or whatever, and put it up there, and we'll fight.
But you're playing online now.
Yeah,
that matters a little bit because you are playing against a human person. I'm just talking about if you're playing a campaign,
right.
No one cares, but you so. Oh, it's such a weird warp that game shit puts you in. And even online, like you playing Max Payne against them kids, and so fucking what? You lost.
Yeah. Max Payne 3. It's a dope game, and all of them. Do you play like Red Dead Redemption and those
all those Rockstar games?
They're great games.
They're the OGs from Grand Theft Auto. I was the final one of the final
voice,
characters,
right?
Yeah, I was the guy the rapper that lost his house in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Cracked out.
He really definitely picks up them controls and go in.
Hey, look,
he enjoys it.
My furniture has been taken out of this house, reupholstered. They put it back in. The couch goes over there where my chair is. I left my chair in front of the TV just so I can play. That chair is only there for me to play video games. I don't give a fuck. No one sits in my couch anyway.
Watch the throne.
So I'm waiting on a new not Gears of War, the new Call of Duty. And in the meantime, I've been playing Borderlands 2. And if you haven't gotten Borderlands 2, it's an old game. It's been out a year or so ago. This is one of those games that's bottomless. You can play them forever and ever and ever, and it's really fun. And then you can replay the game with a different character. But people always want to know what game I'm playing right now. And that's what I'm playing, and that was games. This segment is one of the favorite segments on Final Level Podcast. This is called I'm Not a Hater, but I Hate Shit. And there's a lot of shit I hate. And like we always say, a hater is somebody that's envious, that like Jamie said, a misguided, twisted fan that wants to be you. This is not what this segment is about. This is shit that just pisses us the fuck off. Mickey, you was telling me about something that happened to you the other day. What do you hate?
I hate these goddamn New York City traffic cameras. You're riding downtown, the light turns yellow, or we call amber color. It takes a picture and say you ran a red light. Now, that's cool. But I'm up in the Bronx minding my business. I'm kind of thirsty. I pull over. There's a bus stop, but there's no bus there. There's nothing there. I pull in. I run in the store. I come home. And 4 days later, maybe a week, then let's say a week, I get a ticket stating I parked in front of a no-standing bus stop of a traffic camera taking a picture when nobody else is there. What? Listen, I said I like personal interest, but please, these traffic cameras, y'all got to slow down, man.
The cameras are everywhere.
How about you, Jamie? Did you get a ticket coming over the ice from Connecticut?
I think I might have, yeah.
What did you do, run a red light?
Yeah, I think turning onto like Hudson Terrace or one of these streets, I was like,
and
man.
took a motherfucking picture and no
they got
police.
They got it right there.
Oh, yeah,
like,
they got it.
They got one in the sky too. They got one on the ground and in the sky.
Oh, they got one in the. They got the. I thought they had ghetto birds in the sky.
got drones.
They got drones.
They got in a minute. They got drone cameras, so like every car will have a drone floating over it, and so if it fucks up in any way, it'll just.
Well, I'll take the traffic camera, but I got to tell a little story while you're here, Jamie. You know, I'm hanging out with my guy Ice-T.
Oh no!
Got me a nice Dodge Journey. Yeah, you damn right, Dodge Journey, family car, man. Having a good time, man. You know, went on out to the club with Ice and Coco. We tossing up. Me, Ice, Coco, Tretch. I go across the street. Whoa! There's a sticker on my car. I'm like, don't move the car, you are cause severe damage. So I look around. They had a motherfucking boot on my car. Because of the traffic camera lights that I never saw the tickets, I got $1,100 in tickets and don't even know about it.
So we're in there having a good time. It starts to rain a little bit, and I don't see Mickey. So I'm looking for Mickey. You know, we go out, we kind of keep an eye on each other, just safety precautions. You got to do that in New York. I'm like, where's Mick? I ain't seen Mick in a while. You know, for all I know, he's in the bathroom fighting niggas or something. I don't know. So I go, I'm like, you see my man? They're like, he's outside. So I go outside, and nigga got the sad face looking at me.
I ain't had no money, man.
He looked at me like...
See, that's why he does those appearances. They tell me we shouldn't get paid. That means I wouldn't get no money to get the boot off the car. Yeah. I understand, fans. Got to pay for something. Buy a T-shirt. What the hell? Buy a T-shirt. Buy a keychain.
So Mickey got the boot. So I go, we were with Tretch that night. I said, yo, Tretch, come out here. Mickey got a boot. So we thought the shit was funny, right? So
I didn't think it was funny. And again, Jamie, I never saw any tickets, I swear. I didn't get no $1,100 worth. It's the traffic cameras that are taking it when you're not around.
So we go around. So now Tretch want to take a picture with the boot. Take a picture
Instagram
of Mickey.
Yeah.
Mickey, we got the blackmail shot on you and shit.
Big Wooly Mick ain't got no money.
So Mickey gets on the phone. They go, we need $1,100.
For what?
So Mickey's like, how am I pay you $1,100? Well, you can come down here, or you can give us a credit card over the phone. Do you know that we paid the credit, we paid the thing, and electronically the boot popped off the card. Wow. Right, Mick?
Yeah, the motherfuckers.
That's some sci-fi futuristic.
The best, man.
Tell them what they did. How did the boot come on?
They popped. They said, okay, now they said, don't you try to move. Just go over there and press. No disrespect. Like a combination. Press 1, 2 and watch it come off. You did 1, 2 and then fall off. I said, so what am I supposed to do with the boot now? They said, well, if you don't bring it, it's gonna be $500 if you don't get it in 48 hours. So I take the boot off and bring it back to you. Traffic camera, man. Traffic camera.
They boot you and then make you bring it back to them.
Yeah, they put the boot on and tell you to bring it back. And guess what? Ain't nobody wrote no tickets. It was the traffic cameras.
Yeah,
they're out there.
So Mickey, what you hate? I'm not a hater, but I
hate traffic cameras, man, for no reason. Jamie hates it too. He got a ticket. Watch it be 115.
They're gonna send it to my house.
Yeah, what's your plate number?
Yeah, they got me.
Okay.
We'll see.
Final Level Podcast number 21 with Jamie Jasta representing my motherfucking man. And this is the philosophy segment. And, you know, when we were earlier talking today, you know, Jamie and I were talking about fans. And, you know, we listen to our fans, definitely. We listen to the people that support us. But at some point, you got to kind of like say, hey, look, I'm the artist. I got to do what I'm going to do. And if you guys really like me, you're going to support me. you can't just fall into following everything they want. It's like that's why they're following you, is because they like what you do. So you hit me with the philosophy. You said there was a coach that said one time, how did it go?
Yeah, if anybody knows the name of the coach, maybe they could Google it or whatever and let us know. But there was a famous coach who said, if you listen to the fans too much, you wind up sitting with them. And that hit me because, especially in sports, where these guys are under the microscope all the time, why didn't you put this guy in? Why didn't you hire this guy as defensive coordinator, whatever? If you're listening to every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the street, yeah, you're not going to have a job much longer.
Yeah, and as an artist, what you want is just have confidence in our moves. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when I'm making a record, man, I just got to put it out there and hopefully they'll appreciate it. I can't keep going to them and saying, what do you want me to do? Because for all I know, my fan also might be somebody else's fan. He might want me to sound like that other person. So I think, when you come out that day and you got on that outfit and your friend goes, what are you doing in that outfit? You got to have the courage to say, I like this. This is me. Love it or hate it. And guess what? They'll probably go out and get the damn outfit after they challenge you. And I think as an artist, you have to have the courage to just stand on yourself. And I think your fans will challenge you to see if you're flappable, if you'll move. But I think that the more, like you even just told me the story about you doing a remix for some rappers. Yeah. And some of your fans had a problem with it. But you're like, I like rap. Like, what the fuck? What? So I mean, how do you, what happens in your brain when that happens?
I just think that change is very hard for people to deal with. Change and growth is hard. As you see like a lot of people that aren't, especially that aren't into music or into art, like people who are into sports especially, and maybe that's why this quote relates back to a coach. It's hard when their player retires, like we were talking about Jeter, or it's hard when a coach leaves or whatever. But in music, it's especially hard because you're dealing with creative people. Like you gotta be kind of a creative people to like music or art or film. And so if your favorite action movie director starts directing, romantic comedies,
kid film,
like actually, I was thinking when you had Chris Rock,
you can't say that. Didn't Ice Cube do a lot of kid film? Wasn't they good?
But see, a lot of people have problems with it. But
that's called leadership then. But he's going to be a leader. He's not going to be a follower.
But look at Eddie Murphy. Like, do you want to see a raunchy, fucked up, crazy comedy with Eddie Murphy, or do you want to see like Dr. Dolittle or
well, if you're a real fan, you respect it.
I could take both on Eddie Murphy. I could take both.
But that's because we're forward-thinking people, and we're true fans.
Right.
We can separate it. Some people just want the recipe how it is, and as soon as you put another ingredient in the recipe, they're like, it's ruined. Or they think like the...
You know what? Speaking of that, I had somebody that really hated the remake of Institutionalized. This guy, he hated it like I had done some sacrilegious shit to it. And I'm like, well, Suicidal likes it.
Yeah, right, the band.
Yeah. What's your problem with it? And it was just, I guess maybe he didn't like our band, or he didn't like my references to the new things. He wanted it the way it was. Like if I was going to remake it, I should have done it just like it. And you're right. It exploded his fucking head. He couldn't handle it. I think you have to teach your friends. Let's exchange the word fans for friends.
Yeah, supporters.
Your friends. If you listen to your friends too much, you're going to end up being where your friends are.
Sitting on the couch complaining.
Right. So I think as a person, as a human being, I always preach this. Everybody knows my main word is courage and importance. Have the courage to be you. Just have the courage to tell your best friend, I really don't care that you don't like this TV show I like it. I don't care if this music bothers you. It's what I like. That's why they make headphones.
Yeah.
And just also, like you said, forward thinking, understand that your favorite person is going to do things that you may not like. People lost their mind when Chris Maloney from my show decided to go off and do something else. They're like, you're on Law and Order. You're a cop forever. I'm like, he's an actor.
Yeah.
The man wants to go do comedy. Yeah. You know, I guess, think of Jamie Foxx. He won an Academy Award. He's a comedian. People was used to him doing that. Jamie said, I want to do serious acting. People, you should be doing serious acting. You're a comedian. That's not for you. Motherfucker, I won an Oscar. Okay?
And when he sung a good song, he sung a damn good song.
Yeah, sing. So I think it's your job to live your life and have the courage to do it. And, you know, maybe what I'm telling you is something that's going to make you say, you know what, man, Ice is right, man. You know,
I like doing my rap.
I do what the fuck I want to do.
I'm doing it.
And if you motherfuckers like me or not, and if that's going to make you not like me, well, then fuck off.
Now, a lot of times what I'll do now is if I did a remix for a girl who's kind of like synth electro pop, I just didn't put my name out there and I didn't promote it. I just was behind the scenes. And that I get a lot of satisfaction from.
You know, create another name.
Yes.
Create another name.
Because I can produce an artist.
And become Dr. Octagon or something.
Yeah, there you go. Because you don't have, because a lot of people, though,
Jasta X.
They people want you to like co-sign something, but they don't realize that comes with a lot of other elements.
But when you do the remix, sir, in all honesty, that's why they asking you to do it. They need you to co-sign that you did it.
This don't fuck with something you don't like.
Even if you use an alias, it's still cool. But you can't just not put nothing. Like, you know, the music is there, but they're like, well, who did it? Now when they hear it, if it's Jasper X,
yeah,
they're like, wow, that's
Jamie.
Yeah.
That's Jamie's shit too. And I think your real fans are gonna appreciate the growth. I did a remix, like a techno remix of Reckless with this band, Diaz, and people dug it. You know, but I think that's the one thing. It's like I've really driven it into my fans' heads to not try to pigeonhole me.
Yeah,
I've driven. If I decide I'm gonna do stand-up comedy, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do R&B. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I fucking want to do till I die.
Yeah, no risk, no reward. I mean, I did it with my Josta record. When people heard me clean singing, they said, "Oh, he's using auto-tune, this and that." I didn't use any auto-tune.
You can sing,
right? Like I did the lessons. I did all the takes. I mean, some of that I had to do like 50 takes of some stuff. The song, they said, "Oh, your voice will never be on commercial radio." The song I did with Zach Wilde, it made it like probably to number 37, 38 on commercial radio.
Commercial radio.
And I didn't use like Hatebreed as the promotion vehicle. I didn't like go on every Hatebreed social network.
Right,
I didn't try to push it down those people's throats. And that's what I think you need to do if you are an established artist. Like if Kerry King or Tom Araya from Slayer wanted to do,
acoustic record,
right? Exactly. It would be like career suicide for them. But if they called it something else, or if they didn't promote it through the Slayer channels, maybe it could stand on its own.
Well, this is a good perfect example of I didn't do Body Count as Ice-T.
No, it's Body Count.
It's Body Count.
It's not.
Yeah.
They started putting Ice-T in Body Count because they want to use the name, but the group is called
Body Count. My name ain't in it, and I did that.
Body Count.
Yeah.
I did that because I wanted people to hear the record and then go, "That's Ice singing,"
see?
You know, and get that as a second thing. But let's just listen into the record and stuff. But yeah, you have to be. But I refuse to let a motherfucker on the sideline tell me what I can or can't do.
Yeah.
Only thing I'm gonna do is what I want to do. Now, if you bring me something, if it's whack, I ain't fucking with it. You be like, "Yo, this guy really wants your cosign." I've had friends, close friends, that I just can't cosign their shit. I'm just like, "Yo, dog, this shit is not that good, man."
Yeah.
You know, I'll co-sign you as my friend.
True.
But I'm not going to get up and tell people, "Buy this shit is dope. This shit is," because the one thing I have is a little bit of credibility, a little bit of honesty. That's my brand. That's why I'm getting these voiceovers. That's why I'm getting these other bullshits, because people kind of connect me with honesty. Ice is telling the truth. That's valuable today.
Yeah, absolutely.
With people that'll say anything for anything, So
That's philosophy.
Our philosophy is, if you listen to your fans / friends too much, you'll end up sitting in the bleachers, or you'll end up being where they are.
On the sidelines, yeah.
And that connects to one of my earlier philosophies, is only take advice from people that you respect. I respect my fans, but I don't necessarily know if you know the right moves for me to make career-wise.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You dig? So I always go back to myself, and I just make my judgment. And in your life, man, just have the courage. I keep saying courage because it takes it to be exactly who you want to be. Don't let your friends push you away from something you like. Because, like, somebody was trying to tell me the other day something wasn't cool. I'm like, how the fuck you telling me what's cool? I'm the coolest motherfucker here right now. How you telling me what's cool? Where's your cool credentials?
There should be no such thing as like guilty pleasures. Like, people ask me that in interviews all the time. Oh, what's your guilty pleasure? What's something on your iTunes that we wouldn't expect or that you'd be embarrassed of? And I'm like, there's nothing that I'm embarrassed of. Like, if I like something, I just like something. Like, it makes me feel good. Like, I got Weezer on there. I got Earth, Wind, and Fire. I got Marvin Gaye. There's not anything. I got No Doubt on there.
Tell them come over to the house and watch Taboo 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, we'll watch General Hospital, Alan with actually Passions. That's what I wanted to ask you, man. Did you ever watch Passions?
There these go. These motherfuckers are about to talk soap operas.
No, we like General Hospital, One Life to Live, As the World Turns. I mean, look, this is sweet, serious people over here. Question I want to ask Jamie though is, how the world did he get into podcasting?
Oh, well, let's wrap it up. Well, why don't we just wrap it up? We got to wrap it up. We got to wrap it up because I got to go.
That's a great way to end it. You guys helped me. Thank you.
All right, let's go. Hey, so this is what it is. You've been listening to the Final Level Podcast, number 21. We've been kicking it with Jamie Jasta. You know, you see, there's a lot of similarities between me and him, Mickey. This motherfucker does what he wants to do and is continuing to find new shit.
Oh yeah,
do.
See, he ventures out. He ventures out to other
and
things.
You've
After
been a
20 years,
huge inspiration to me. I see
20 years of hate breed.
Yeah, and Jamie has his own podcast.
Now, I want to ask Jamie about that.
Okay, let's go in.
How did you get into podcasting?
After I called in your show, I said, I'm going to go to your site. You know, I heard the ad read for Squarespace and the whole thing, and I went to your site, and I was like, man, this looks good. And it was FinalLevel.com, I think it was.
IceTFinalLevel.com.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so I go to the contact, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hit Alex up. I'm gonna hit up Paragon.
So you didn't know Alex?
No.
This is this dude's get down. He's not a game.
Because and I said, you know what? Because I had been offered radio shows and I'd been offered like smaller TV shows, and I've done a lot. I've done pilots that never got picked up. You know, like heavy metal, you know, American Idol wannabe shows and things like that just never panned out. And I could see that this was an upstart company. They were doing something cool for you guys that's forward thinking and it's outside the box. It's not like all the other podcast companies. And I'm at the point now where I just want to be able to share in the ad revenue, or if I create ad revenue, I want to be able to get a little cut of it.
Piece of the action.
Yeah, I don't think that's greedy. I think that if you look at the long term, if I'm going to endorse a product, it's going to be something that I like. I'm not going to endorse something that I don't like, and so nobody should have any beef with that. But back on Headbangers Ball days, you're seeing Bowflex ad. Well, Bowflex ain't cutting me a check, you know?
Yeah, and then just for people to understand, I mean, you know, we're very transparent. When you see a free podcast like ours or Jamie's podcast, there's ads. The ads pay us based on how many listeners we have. Basically, that's it. If nobody listens, then they don't pay us no money. If we do, we can make a nice income, but it's based on listeners. So it's a job that's really based on how. That's why we get on here and we really work. We want y'all to listen, and it doesn't cost you a dime, but the more listeners. So to somebody like Jamie or myself, that's a good deal. It's based on your work.
And we have the access, like today,
right?
Or earlier, previously on your show, you've had someone like Chris Rock. You have that access. That's your legacy you've built up, your relationship that you built up. And that's why so many people want to hear you, because you'll never hear that type of knowledge and that wisdom coming through on a different show, because a lot of those people don't have that type of connection.
They're not friends.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think I've been able to have the little bit of podcast success with my stuff, because I have the access. So I'm at a festival, and I got Tom Araya from Slayer, I got Chris Jericho, the wrestler, I got the kid from A Day to Remember, or like, you know, I'm coming up, I got Vinnie Paul on the show, and comedians and different, because I have the access. And anybody who's successful, I really feel like will share the abundance.
Well, that's what Ice is doing, and myself with this podcast. We share personal things about Ice-T. You don't know him,
Yes.
so now you get an opportunity to really hear him. Sometimes you can call in and talk to him. You're not going to be able to do that while he's riding in a car down the block. And if you're a true family or friend, I don't like call people fans. That shit really irks me. But family or friend, you able to reach out to the Ice-T Final Level Podcast. So now you hear us on the podcast through Alex at Paragon Collective.
And now you
just
got
pick
one.
the phone up and call this guy.
I was like, because everybody kept telling me, especially after I was on your podcast, that people are like, why don't you do your own? But also, you guys have a lot of life wisdom, and you guys have seen a lot and done a lot. And so that's why you have the listeners and the base that you have, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to benefit from that, because all these, whether it's Squarespace or whatever sponsors, they're gaining your fan base's support.
Well, it's also work. I mean, you see, we've been here all day. We've been doing this all day. You know, people don't have time to do. You know, I just feel like you get what you earn. You know, and the only way we in podcasting you earn is if you get listeners. So you can get on here all day. If you suck and nobody wants to listen to you, then that's the end of the game.
No, but it's like Jamie said, a commercial radio can call you. You go in there and they give you a couple of dollars.
Yeah, and they edit everything.
No, they give you a couple of dollars, and when they tired of you, they put somebody else in that spot. You know, you sound too old, we get rid of them. See, you create your own platform, like I said. You are a person that likes to do different things. You were on a tour doing an interview with us and said, damn, I like this myself. How they doing it? Who they got it from?
Yeah.
I can do this. You bought your unit, you go out. It's very
squeaky wheel gets the grease. I just had Rob Zombie on, and you know, this is a guy who has like number one movies, you know, huge, you know, Halloween.
The man, he's the man.
Yeah, and just for him to give me the time and for me to soak up the knowledge was so inspiring. You know, he was a fan backing a movie, so the fans were paying to get the movie produced and made, and that's because why? Because they know his product, they know his track record. You know, they got House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and so they know that this new movie's going to be off the hook, and they trust it and they support it, and so that's what, you know, I saw with your show. Like, I thought, you know, you guys, you trust that this is in good hands, and
hey, you know what? We happy to have you as a brother on Paragon with us doing this. You know, everybody can do their own, because no matter how much our show's different than yours. Your show's different than ours. We just connected to Combat Jack. We had Al Toucher on here. He's got a podcast. And I think the sooner the podcasters understand they can parlay off of each other, it'll help us all, you know. But we're just glad that we're starting to make podcasting hip.
Yeah.
You know, people, this is very, very new to a lot of people. And I think that in the future, you know, like you said, well, what, like the guy was saying, who our other guest, he said, well, what TV show you watch? Well, I think pretty soon people say, well, what podcast you listen to? Like, it's just going to be normal and stuff. And like another thing, this what you just said is when Chris Rock was here, the jewel he dropped was the wealth isn't the money, it's the relationships. And the relationships you have, though, the ability to connect to a Chris Rock or, like you say, a Rob Zombie or somebody, and them just to give you that solid. Do you understand? If they don't know you, that's going. When I did the art of rap, I would let someone try to do the art of rap with money.
It wouldn't be the same.
No. It would cost them millions of dollars.
It wouldn't be the same. It'd just be money spent. This was done on relationships.
And the interviews wouldn't be as real, and they wouldn't be as genuine, because and watch normal Rob Zombie like interviews. Sometimes he's real cagey with the interview. He's real guarded. But in our conversation, relaxed, opening up about behind the scenes stuff. And that's what I saw with you and Chris Rock.
It's not commercial radio.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know.
There's no gossip. It's not commercial radio. It's having good times amongst family and friends.
I'm not going to have my friend over here and then talk some shit he don't.
Find out shit that you don't want to be talking about.
That's that corny shit.
It's corny.
Who needs to do
Like I
that?
said, even like with Ice, same thing with you. You have fans after 20 years of doing Hate Breed, trust and believe, they want to say hi.
Yeah.
They don't want to see you on tour. They don't want to keep hitting you on Twitter or Facebook. Now they got an opportunity to say hi to you personally. Hey, oh shit. You know how many people fall hell over heels when they say, oh my God, I don't even know what to say. I got Ice-T on the phone.
Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
Yeah.
More so than,
I agree.
You know, just
But you know what? You know what? The problem is, Mickey?
What's the problem, baby?
The problem is, right now, people are caught up in bullshit. People are caught up in all the hype that the media has created. They're not concentrating on what's really going on in the world. So we gonna end this show with the one and only Jamie Jasta featuring on the new Body Count Manslaughter album. The song is called Pop Bubble Full of Bullshit. Listen to the words and learn. We out of here.
I'm fed up with this shit, man. And I'ma say it. Ain't nobody gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Motherfuck this shit. Y'all whores. Music ain't saying shit no more. Read my lips. Read my lips. Read my lips. You ain't talking about shit. America's losing their cribs. Why you bragging about the shit you did or the shit you buy? Most of it lies. Yeah, I know, and you know I know. The government's tapping the net. Why you rapping about your car and jet? I miss PE, I miss groups like Rage. Your pop shit's making me physically sick. Obama did 8 years, cuz. Why you singing about bottles and clubs? This shit don't make no sense. Most of your fans can't pay their rent. You've been sold a fantasy. You're living in a bubble full of bullshit. A pop bubble full of bullshit. You've been sold a fantasy. You're living in a bubble full of bullshit. A pop bubble full of bullshit. You're living in a bubble. You've been sold a fantasy. Little do you know the price we pay. So sick or ignorant children die. While veterans come on to the real war. Living in debt on borrowed time. Some bankers steal, some media lies. Now you've been bought and fucking sold. Gonna steal like a temple or it goes. Music's come a long way. Guys have gone from fight to power to what does Kim Kardashian have on today? Fuck's the matter with you? Pop shit's driving me fucking crazy. And I'm not talking about people that start out being pop stars. I'm talking about so-called hardcore motherfuckers that'll do anything to get on the radio. Eat a dick. Body count, motherfucker. I can't fake it. This shit's whack. I say this to your face. This ain't behind your back. You corny motherfuckers can't look me in the eye. Cause most of you fake and you're living a lie. You're living in a lie. The cops are still twisted. The laws are still fucked. The rich are still greedy. Government's still corrupt. You're living in a fucking lie. The news is all gossip. People have no hope. So what you making cash? Your soul is still broke. You've been sold a fantasy. You're living in a bubble full of bullshit. A pop bubble full of bullshit. You've been sold a fantasy. You're living in a bubble full of bullshit. A pop bubble full of bullshit. You're living in a bubble. Bitch, motherfuckers don't want no fight. Your motherfucking pants too tight. You'll be in for a few and then you're through. Cause pop ain't got no love. So what, your shit's in the club. You want me to say some names? I'm too seasoned in this game. That only give them pop fame. Fuck bloggers, fuck bullshit hype. Ice is on one tonight. Check my history, ain't shit changed. Still OG and I'm still the same. Turn that fucking radio off.
That's how I'm living. 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 That's how I'm living.